So today I'm in the office and things are really quiet around here. We have the coronavirus quarantine that's ongoing, and it really is a great example of the type of disruption that typically would cause some problems in the court process. It is certainly around here. We've got kind of mass chaos and confusion about whether or not courts are active, whether or not courts are closed. The Georgia Supreme Court's tried to step in and say that there is a sort of an order clearing up that most of the courts are in fact going to be closed and inoperable for a period of time. So that's exactly the kind of event that I look for in trying to decide whether or not a speedy trial demand might really be advantageous for us in a case. So there's a couple of factors I look for in evaluating whether or not a speedy trial is appropriate in a case. First, you want to know what the terms of court are. Make sure that if you are predominantly misdemeanor practice, that you know that there are separate terms of court typically for state courts and superior courts. There are some courts that you practice in which both the state and superior court are going to have the same terms, but you want to know that for sure. And don't default to accepting that because of the statutory term of court, which is set for the superior court, is also the term of court for the state court in your jurisdiction. You want to make sure that you know what the term of court is because it is vital to the decisions that you make. You also want to know how regularly jurors are impaneled in that jurisdiction. For example, in Fulton County, I know that jurors are impaneled Monday through Thursday. And if a judge calls up the jury clerk and says, I want jurors to be in my courtroom tomorrow morning to try Ben Sessions' DUI case, jurors will in fact be there. They are subpoenaed to be there. The vast majority of cases, unless there's something crazy like coronavirus, you're going to have 14, 16 jurors that are available to come up and try your misdemeanor DUI. And you want to know those kinds of factors because they're really important because let's say, for example, you only have jurors that are available to try a case once every 2 months. You need to know that for the purpose of your speedy trial motion and whether or not you decide to employ it. I typically find that you obviously want really short terms of court. That's going to really present a real advantage for you. In courts that are busier or have very loaded dockets, they may not really be busy, but if they have a huge docket that's there, you usually are going to have more confusion in those courtrooms where you do file a statutory speedy trial demand. It's a huge advantage if you have short terms of court and you have loaded dockets. Those usually is a good combination for you for the purposes of your speedy trial demand. In addition to that, you obviously just want to know things about your client. Is your client going to be available to try the case if you are in fact filing a statutory speedy trial demand? Is your client willing to face that sort of pressure? A lot of times people are turned off by virtue of doing it because they can't be there at the drop of a hat to try a case on, say, a Thursday if a judge calls you on a Tuesday and says, I want you to be here. So you need to talk those things over with your client because that is going to be vital in making that decision. From there, I like to think about how is it that it's going to affect the plea negotiation process. There are some courts that I practice in where a prosecutor treats it as though it is the equivalent of spitting in their face, for example, if you file a statutory speedy trial demand. They are just so put off by it for really no good reason at all. But you need to know that that is a possibility and know where it is that you're fighting the case at. Know your individual jurisdiction, know who your prosecutor is. If you have any questions about these considerations, if you're really thinking about filing a statutory speedy trial demand in your jurisdiction and you're just not sure what it is that you should do, feel free to drop me a line. My name is Ben Sessions. My email will be included in the description of this video below. Always here to help. If there's anything I can do to help you, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much.